Hey, I want to talk through what I got going on with my trailer build. I spent several hours over the last several weeks watching other people's YouTube videos, and I got so much out of seeing what they did on their trailers. I wanted to put this out there with what I have done. I got a standard 16 by 7 foot cargo trailer. First thing, I got the window put in. That went in relatively easy. The window came with a template. I traced the template out, make sure everything's level. I had some issues of not getting the lines drawn correctly. When I was 8, 9 years old, I used to always go into the woods with pieces of 2x4 and hammer them into trees to make tree forts. I don't think my construction ability has improved over the 40 plus years since that 8 or 9 year old kid was hammering chunks of wood into trees. What I did first was I took a drill with a drill bit. I drilled that drill bit all around the corners. I then used an angle grinder to start the cut and finished cutting through the sidewall with a jigsaw. I did run into one stud from the wall frame that I again had to use the angle grinder to cut through, but it was a really straightforward process getting everything in. I used a 2-inch window here, and this lined up well with the 1-inch furring strips that I put on the roofing frame. With this, I taped the window with butyl tape, and then I used Lexel sealant. I'm not sure if Lexel sealant was the way to go. It's pretty gooey and pretty messy to work with compared to window caulk. I think window caulk could have been better. However, I have heard for trailers with the vibration from the road, you can run into issues with regular house caulk cracking on you. I put in a mini split. I'm thinking this is going to be a good way going forward because I got heat and air conditioner. I used the Stromberg generator rack. This thing was very easy to put in and it feels very sturdy. Continued coming around. I taped the lines. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do things or not, but I wanted just to get more protection on it than what these lines would go through being in a house. I'm not planning on towing this around a lot, but I am going to tow it out to the land. It's going to be facing 60-mile-an-hour winds when I'm on the highway. So I just wanted some more protection on it. We'll see how this does. Continue to come around. I got the Anker F3800 power station and an extra battery for it. So I'll have 7.6 kilowatts of battery storage. Right now, this is what we're looking at on the power station. I'm pulling 174 watts for running the mini split, and I'm charging at 538 watts from the solar array. I have 415 watt panels on the roof. I hooked up those panels in series. I originally was thinking that I'll put two in series, and then hook those two together in parallel. However, looking at what the Solix F3800 Plus can handle, that didn't seem like that was going to be a good way going forward. It seems like I was going to get the best way going forward with the power generation would be by connecting everything in series and just keeping it simple like that, because this thing can't handle 165 volts coming into it, and I believe the VOC of each panel was 37 volts. So 37 times 4 in series, that's well under 165. Go inside. So what I got going on the Anker power station, I have a RV electrical cord. It was 10 gauge wire, I believe it's rated at 30 amps. I cut the female end off of the extension cord, and then I ran it into a breaker box over here. We have the cut end of the extension cord running into it. This is what we did on my first deployment. So we had a generator, and then we cut the end off an extension cord, plugged the extension cord into a generator, ran the other end into the house, and then wired that up. So I got the cut end of the extension cord going into the breaker box, and I put in a bus bar. I went back and forth a lot because I'm not an electrician of if I should treat this like a main panel or a sub panel. So the main panel, it's going to have the ground and neutral wires connected together, whereas a sub panel, it's going to have all the grounds on a separate ground bar and then all the neutrals into the neutral bar. This does not have a main breaker on it, So I treated it like a sub panel. I put in a separate ground bus bar with the grounds. I got the one ground running into the frame of the trailer. And best news, everything works. This is what I got going on inside the trailer. I attached 1-inch furring strips to the 1-inch square tube frame so I can get 2 inches of spray foam insulation inside. I got spray foam scheduled for next week. When I was attaching these wood strips to the metal frame, at first I was using these lath screws. They weren't really going in easily. I then switched to these wood to metal screws, which were much more effective in getting into the steel frame of the trailer. Also, the other tip that I learned with putting in these screws was using fresh drill bits. I felt like maybe every 20, 30 screws, the drill bit would start stripping out, the Phillips head bit would start stripping out, so then I'd need to replace it in order to continue on. If you look at what I did on the floor, I took Simpson L30 angle brackets to hold the 3/8 inch OSB board that I took off the wall. So I cut the 3/8 inch OSB board that used to be on the walls to fit between the floor joists. Before I put the OSB board in, I painted the bottom with roofing tar just to provide a little more durability. Everything inside the trailer is going to be covered with 2 inches of spray foam from the floors to the walls to the ceiling. The mini split that I have set up should be more than capable to keep everything cold in the summer, and I'm hoping to be living inside in the winter. A week from today is when I get spray foam. Once I get the spray foam in, I think it's going to be a pretty quick finish of what I'm looking to do to it. I don't want to really do a lot to it. What I'm looking at doing is using tongue and groove board to finish the walls and the roof. I'm probably looking at some sort of like rubber mat flooring to keep it simple and keep it easy to clean on the floor. This is how I set up the roof of the trailer. One thing I really wanted to do was put in a vent fan, but once I got the solar panels up, I just did not have roof space for a vent fan. Sometime in the future, I might look to put one of the small 6-inch diameter roof vent fans up here. First, I just want to see how everything is going to go with the mini split and the spray foam insulation. If things are good with the mini split, the spray foam insulation, the 2 windows I put in, I'm just going to keep going with that because I'm trying to limit how many roof penetrations that I put in. So I got 4 415 watt solar panels up here. They are mounted to Unistrut. I got the idea to mount it to Unistrut from, I believe the channel is From Cargo to Comfy. It was a good analysis. I'm sure if you do some searches on YouTube, you can find that video. But the person used Unistrut to mount it to the roof of his trailer. I was trying to limit the number of roof penetrations I could do, but ended up going through the roof into the frame of the roof. Very sturdy structure. I used 3/8 inch bolts that were 2 inches long. They're coming through the Unistrut, through the roof frame, and then they're bolted inside the trailer. This is where the 2-inch, 3/8 inch bolt is coming through the roof frame from the Unistrut. The solar panels attach to the Unistrut bracket, and that bracket attaches to the Unistrut. Again, everything is very solid. Between the Unistrut and the roof of the trailer, I put a 1/4 inch piece of rubber gym flooring. I had a lot of extra gym flooring mats, so I just cut off rectangular strips from that gym flooring mat. I put it underneath the Unistrut to provide more cushion when we're going down the road. I think this is going to be a good fix for all the vibrations I'm expecting to encounter, and it appears to do a good job sealing it up. I did put Lexel sealant on the base of the gym flooring, and then I also put some of the butyl tape around the bolt that I had going in to the roof frame. We've had a couple rainstorms. We had one wet snowstorm So far, no leaks, and hopefully that continues. The other step that I took to seal the roof, this might have been unnecessary. I got a can of Flex Seal. It looks like the spray paint bottle, and I sprayed over every roof penetration that I did with the Flex Seal. All the construction up here seems really sound. I'm shaking it around. You can see the trailer moving, but the unistrut is not moving, nor are the solar panels. This is the second window that I put in the trailer. Again, it's a standard RV window. One thing that I did not pay attention to when I ordered it, this window was made for a 1-inch opening, and this door is 2 inches. Looking inside, you can see how the frame pinches in to accommodate for the extra inch. I think this is going to work. I'm looking to fill this up with black caulk to give it a more finished look. However, I wish I could have found a window that was made for a 2-inch door. When I first bought the trailer, it came with an RV door lock. I heard those are easy to break into and I wanted more security. So I put in this cam bar lock. Pretty easy to install. I also used the same 1/4-inch piece of gym flooring that I used on the roof of the trailer to provide just more protection against the vibration that the trailer is going to see while we're driving down the road. My land is in the middle of nowhere. I don't expect to have issues of people coming on, but I just wanted that extra protection of more security. This is where I'm at with my trailer build. I'm looking forward to getting spray foamed in next week. I think finishing is going to go pretty quick with just basics of putting up the tongue and groove board, getting it finished out, have some shelves in there. I want to use E-tracks for the modularity that I can use to hook things up to it, and then getting it out on my land and looking forward to starting to build the homestead.